and another Instagram slash Facebook slash YouTube live session where I want to answer your art marketing business related questions. And I've got some media, of course, that I thought was just too good not to share because it's just such a power flex. But we might as well start with the current events because I think this is super interesting on a whole bunch of different levels. And I'm sure you guys are, mostly artists and photographers. I'm sure you study how this guy does things too. But if you didn't see this, so Banksy did another piece, right? And this was the wall before he did the piece, and this is the wall after he did the piece. And so this is like a brand new piece of artwork that he did. You can see it's this guy in green doing the painting. But what's interesting is that, understanding the prominence of Instagram, of course he went to Instagram to announce it, right? Like what other platform would one of the greatest selling artists in the world go to announce it? Of course he went to Instagram to announce it. And what I thought was really interesting is like, you want to talk about just an utter, total, and complete power flex, okay, that this guy has that almost no one can do is I look at the Daily Mail, and let me pull this up, share screen. This is when you know you've made it, and then you've like seriously made it. So let me add this to the screen share and get up to the top of this. Exclusive artist Banksy reveals he is behind the tree mural, which obviously he did in North London, and locals fear their rent is now about to skyrocket. So just by virtue of the fact that he went and did this piece, where it's a dead tree looking at the things, now people are concerned that the building rent is going to go up. I mean, just because there's a Banksy mural on the side of it. If that doesn't scream, I've made it, I don't know what does. That's just an incredibly important power flex. And I did think it was really interesting, of course, that, he made that announcement on Instagram. So further prominence to the platform. If you're an artist, if you're a photographer, need to be doing regular and active marketing on Instagram because it's a big deal. So for everyone else, anyone that's watching this, anyone that's tuned in, if you've got art marketing related comments, questions, things you're struggling with, branding, pricing, niche selection, originals, limited editions, the show and fair circuit. I know one of the things in my kids, I'm acutely aware that it's spring because one, it's sunny out in California, and two, my kids are screaming and yelling in the backyard right now because they're on spring break. So one of the great things about spring is that it's show and fair circuit. Meaning more and more shows are going to be opening up. Absolutely epic opportunity for any of you and all of you. If you've never done one, I believe every artist, every photographer should be doing, a couple in-person events per year to the extent possible. You certainly don't need to cap yourself at that. I know how hard they are to do, and the investment and the time, the energy, the effort, printing out the inventory or creating the inventory in the first place. So I know they're not easy to do. But happy to answer any questions you guys have about that. I have like one of our most in-depth posts that we've ever done is all about how to do shows and fairs and how to rock shows and fairs. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Shows and Fairs. So all you literally have to do on this comment or on this post, by the way, if you want me to send that to you, is if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can just leave a comment with the word shows, SHOWS, and I will send you the guide. Most people think that you just show up in an art show, you show up in an art fair, and you put your work in a booth and you just sit there. Nothing could be further from the truth. There is so much tradecraft that goes into doing a fair or show that when you know it, the entire event changes. I would go as far to say like the difference between really seriously, solidly banking an incredible ROI and not are the things that you do before, during, and after a show to get the most ROI out of them. And like, look, when you invest that much time, energy, and effort, renting the booth, buying a booth, setting up the table, trucking the work around, anything that it is, like you owe it to yourself to do everything in your power to get the highest level of ROI out of that event, period, right? And so there's things that you can do before, during, and after that I highlight in that guide. I teach you how to capture email addresses, effectively capture email addresses, how to make sure everyone that can't be at the show or the fair gets a look at your booth via live broadcast, and just a ton of other great tactical in there. So happy to send that to you. You can just leave a comment with the word shows. Other than that, whole new week. It's spring. What are you guys struggling with? Any and all art marketing related questions, I'm answering, and I'm answering for the next few minutes, and I'll actually see if I can get one of my colleagues in here to help answer as well, if you have time. All right, I'm dropping a link. Other than that, ask your question. Hold on, something weird. Ask your question and I will answer. It's crazy how many things you actually have to do to like pull off one of these live broadcasts. Like you gotta ask a question, pin it to Instagram so that everyone that comes onto the broadcast after the fact sees that and it's like, oh, I can ask a question and get it answered live. Yes, you can absolutely ask a question and get it answered live. We run 9+ sessions like this a week internally for our customers, and so it's kind of a cool way to, it's a cool way to get a taste of what we do as a product at Art Storefronts without having to sign up or spend the money. Assuming you did or you didn't want to. So you're struggling with international intentional subject matter other than just emotional content in my piece. Yeah, I think the hardest thing, I am not a doodat. I think that's what it is. I am not a doodat. That's how I'm reading. I am not a doodat. I got to get that in there. No, I know where you were going with it, right? I think that everybody does it backwards. Okay. Everybody does it backwards. What everyone does, artists and photographers included, is they say, I'm going to go and create what fulfills me creatively. I want to go and create what inspires me. I'm going to go and create what I like to create, the subject matter, the things that I'm going to shoot, the things that I'm going to do. Okay. Then once the product is ready, once the art is created, once the photograph has been made and it's been printed, you go and you take it to market and you're like, I wonder if others might be interested in what I created. And there's lots of people that hit home runs doing that. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but lots of times it doesn't work because you don't know if there's built-in demand for what you've created. You don't know if there's a built-in audience for what you've created. You don't know how to find the audience for what you've created. You don't know if people love putting this kind of stuff on the wall or if people are tired of it. All of these various different things. And so a great thing to do is invert the creation equation. So instead of just saying, I'm going to create what I like and go see whether or not it'll going to sell, go and find something that you think has a diehard audience to it. Okay. Start with the end and work backwards. Go and find somewhere where there's a diehard audience, somewhere you can reach them, somewhere that these people spend money on a regular basis on the things that they love. And that, the cheesy analogy that I always use is like, go in, study the Green Bay Packers. Okay. I know most artists don't like sports and especially football. I don't even really care for football, but I know that Green Bay Packers fans buy their body weight every single solitary year in Green Bay Packers related swag and stuff. So that would be an example of like, oh my gosh, there is this diehard movement that's super into the Green Bay Packers. I know these people hang out on Instagram. I know they hang out in Facebook groups. I know they hang out in forums. I know how to target them. I'm going to go create some Green Bay Packer related stuff and then go and sell it, right? You start with the diehard audience and you work backwards. And it's a fantastic mental model to get yourself into. And it is not easy. It is not easy to invert that equation. Like you have to really, really think through, okay, I'm going to start with the end in mind and work backwards. But it is a fantastic way to guarantee that you're going to be able to make sales, right? It's a fantastic way to potentially newsjack, right? And when I say newsjack, like, use something that everybody is talking about. Go and create some content like that and then see if it'll sell that way. It's a really, it's just fundamentals to business, and like very, very few people do it. Everyone's like, I'm going to create. I'm not going to get any feedback, and then I'm going to go see if it can sell. Instead, don't even create the thing until you've got the feedback and people are really, really interested in it, right? Instagram has some fantastic ways of sort of quantifying that too, especially in Instagram stories where you can say like, hey, I'm thinking about creating A or B. Which one should I do? Vote, right? Like a great way to initially get feedback on whether or not you should invest all the time to be doing that, which I think is a big, big deal. Dwayne, I love that. Says, hopefully Patrick is well compensated. He's a workhorse. I can't be someone that yells and screams at my customers to market more consistently, and yells and screams at you guys to market more consistently, and then not do it myself. That would make me out to be a fraud, and I'm not having it. I gotta walk the walk, so to speak, right? Which is why I push it as hard as I do. And then also, like, what is one of the most important metrics for every single solitary one of you guys marketing on Instagram, on Facebook? Number of pieces of content you create per week. Why? Solely because when you do that, all of a sudden your goals, getting really, really good at selling art on these platforms, is aligned with your output. How many posts you're doing per week will force you to become a really, really confident marketer and to learn and to get better on the platform, and not be one of these artists that says like, oh, Instagram used to be cool 4 years ago, but I posted my art 5 times and nothing happened. Like, yeah, of course nothing happened. You have to post way more than 5 times. Okay. Way more. Jimmy, I love this. Can you give us some motivating word to have another week full of creating and posting? Did you see me play the suffering video, Jimmy, last week on Friday? Like, I wish for you suffering, right? It's like this super viral video from the guy that started NVIDIA. His name was Jensen Wang. Anyway, you're supposed to suffer. It's supposed to hurt. It's not supposed to be comfortable. And that is part and parcel of the deal, sadly. And then Dwayne, I will do some more Instagram profile teardowns. I really actually enjoy doing them. I got to figure out if I'm going to have like one session of just doing it for like, an hour straight, like one after another, after another, after another. Could even do some shout outs on profiles that I think are great, and some ways to look at it. I should probably just even do a whole entire like, Instagram course in a box, so everybody can get an idea, get a sense of it. I think that's a really, really a good idea, because it helps for you guys to see other profiles torn down, right? And what you might be missing. But again, the most important thing to be doing is just focus on the number of posts you're doing per week. It should be the North Star metric of everyone early on, because you learn, right? Like, you learn and you get better. I mean, let me look and see what we did. Normally, every Monday I do my own stats, but I haven't had a chance to do it today. And so I'm just going to look. I'm going to go here to Insights. Oh, I'm going to share this. Hold on. Let me share it. Get it up there. All right, good. And what I like to do is the weeks for me run Sunday to Saturday. That's at least how we track them. So I always like to look at the last 7 days. And I like to see like, what was my output, right? And so let me just get the calculator, because it's the only way I can sum this up. We've outsourced our ability to do math to the calculator. So last week, Art Storefront's account did 27 posts. It did 54 stories, did 85 reels, did 7 live videos. So we were at 173 pieces of content last week, which is pretty crazy. 27 posts divided by 7. So how many? It's probably even too much. In fact, for us, it probably is too much, because what happens when you're posting this quickly. So that's 3.85 posts per day. 54 divided by 7 is 7 stories a day, which is a good sweet spot. 85 reels divided by 7 is 12 reels a day. That's probably way too much, right? But we learn every time that we do this, and we get better every time that we do this, and we continue growing our following every time that we do this. And so it's the same advice, that I give all of our customers, right? Like, that's how you get good. That is how you learn to storytell. And trust me, I know it's daunting. I know you guys, as artists and photographers, have to wear every single solitary damn hat all the time. And I know that makes it really, really hard. And that's okay. You just let yourself know that, like, it is that damn hard. And that's what you get yourself ready to suffer through, right? Did you ever do long format marketing, in-depth videos, reviews, storytelling? Yeah, full circle. Like, anytime you have a question like that, like, what you want to do is, your bias wants to switch to action. Like, if you have a question like that, create it and do it. Because otherwise you'll never find whether or not it works for you. You're always just going to be in like contemplation mode, right? Like, I wonder if this will work. I wonder if that'll work. No, do it. Do it immediately. Ship it, is what we like to say, that we stole from the coding world. They have this notion of like, how much code did you ship? How much code did you actually produce this week, right? When Elon Musk took over Twitter, he's asking all the engineers, like, what code did you write and submit last week, right? And people lost or kept their jobs based on the answer to that question, which I think is really important. In the barrel photo, cool. I'll definitely talk later in the week about the Instagram. I might even do a couple different sessions doing it, tearing everything down. That might even be the ball game. But who else, guys? Questions, art marketing questions of any stripe whatsoever. What you're working on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. What are you struggling with? If you just had a little advice, maybe you could get some sales over the line or take a positive step in the business. Those are the questions that I love answering on here. And the plan is to continue to do more and more and more of these. I want to try and get to like 2 or 3 a day where we're doing that. I also have planned later in the week to bring on some art storefronts customers and sort of talk about their business, where they're at, what's working for them, and then some big decisions that they need to make about actually growing the business. So I think that should be super fun too. All right. Well, you guys are not a questionative bunch this morning, but I hope you all have wonderful weeks, and I'll see you in upcoming live broadcasts. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.